Hi again, good evening to all of you. This is Preetha Balakrishnan again with this continuing with the interview series of Women Power in Digital Entrepreneurship. Let me quickly tell you why I'm doing so many interviews. All of you must be wondering, what is this whole affair of interviews? So apart from, of course, interviewing various people from different walks of life, one of the main objectives why I'm conducting these interviews is to also have this as a ready reckoner for women to, when they look at it, they actually have suggestions, ideas and actions that they can take away for them to implement in their day-to-day life, right? So I am a women's independence coach, and my vision is to help 100,000 women become self-reliant. And today whom I'll be interviewing, and one thing that I've consciously sort of kept in mind is I have tried to get in people from various streams, whether it's a doctor, a business entrepreneur, a digital expert, CEO of a company, not yet, but that's going to happen soon. And who knows, it may be you. I mean, if you're interested in getting interviewed because you're a leader and have certain experiences that you want to share, it'll be great to have you there as an to interview you. So that's the idea. Like as I'm waiting for my let me just see if I can have Dashweer. There he is. And so let me there he is. So let me just add Mr. Dashweer Singh. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Good evening, Preetha. I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Good. I somehow cannot call you by your name. You just fit so well to be called as sir, while I know that you're younger to me. Because I think the way you are and as a leader, I think the way when I worked with you, I felt you came across as a very prim and proper person, and so you need to be called as sir. That's the reason why I call you sir. It's not the age. Yeah. So I was just explaining, and for the benefit of the viewers too, as to why I'm doing this, sir, in terms of the objective. One, of course, is to help women in terms of all these videos being a ready reckoner for them, that when they listen to it, they have suggestions, ideas and actions that they can take and use in their day-to-day life. So my vision, as you know, sir, is to help 100,000 women become self-reliant. And what I do is to help women create goals, and I help them achieve it. I mean, these are not like normal goals. These are inspiring goals that they want to do for themselves. And it's through a visioning process that I help them create it. And then, at the end of it, if not 100%, they feel that they're in the right direction. So there you are, all of you. Dashweer Singh sir is with us. And let me quickly introduce you to him. He's a business entrepreneur. His store, Maharaja Carpets, is one of the oldest and well-known company when it comes to carpets and floor coverings in Hyderabad. His interests includes reading specially biographies, sports, and spending time on upgrading his skills and also empowering others. And he loves to he loves to cook and listen to music. He's also the senior director consultant BNI, and that's where I met him. In fact, it's because of him, let me frankly tell you, that I joined the particular chapter. I went there as a visitor, and what I really saw is the energy and the humbleness that he carried when he was addressing all those people there. It never came out that he was, in a power position. It was his humbleness and energy that made me join the chapter. So that's about Dashweer sir. And so how are you feeling, sir, after all of this introduction?
Yeah, it's quite a high, but thank you for the introduction, Preetha. You made it sound like, really an honorable post, but I'm just a normal person like everyone is. And thank you for the kind words.
It definitely is. I mean, I think the kind of energy and effort that you put in there, very few people would. So that's one of the reasons why I also thought that I should interview you, because being in a leadership level and seeing, different people perform, whether it is man or women, the kind of energies and experiences that you might have had, and you still have. I think it'll be a very good discussion that we can get into. That was one of the reasons why I really felt I should interview you too. If you're comfortable, I'll start off with the first question.
Please go ahead.
Yeah. So apart from me knowing you, as an individual, and also having worked with you, why do you think this topic is important for you? And the topic being women power in digital entrepreneurship. I wanted to really focus on the digital space, but whatever you're comfortable with in terms of why do you think this topic is important for you, sir?
So first of all, entrepreneurship is wholly or mostly looked as in our society is looked as somewhere where men have a more success rate or probably overall presence, whether it's digital or non-digital. More so the digital platform or the digital entrepreneurship has become more popular. It's more effective these days, and of course it's easier to get in, rather than set up a brick and mortar shop and then have a lot of efforts which go into it, and it's not everybody's cup of tea. The digital platform gives any entrepreneur, whether a man or a woman, a little more ease of doing business. Probably, you can start off from the comfort of your home. You don't have to actually go and have a fancy office. And a lot of women actually are attracted to this particular segment because they really don't have to step away from the comfort of their home. Not that they don't like to, but then for women, the family is always first. It's something that they take pride in. It's not that something that they are forced to do. By nature, women are the custodian of the family, and then when I say that, it is something that they take pride and they would love to do it. But now, with so much of opportunities which come across women, they were also all of them would like to explore it. Now they're more. If you look at the women today, they are more in a better skill position. They're better equipped. So when they are better equipped, then gives them an opportunity to go and explore these skills to a business level. So having said that, digital platform gives them a much easier option to actually go and try it out. It's a very minuscule risk, probably, if I may say, that if you want to try out something, for example, if your example, if I may take, a coach can, you don't have to go and buy a fancy office and hire fancy staff to do this. Because you're so much passionate about coaching and empowering people, and especially women, you can do it within the frame, the comfort with minimum setup. So this is probably in the present scenario, it's a very easy way to actually take those steps towards owning your own business, probably entrepreneurship. So the digital space, what we speak about, is not necessarily related to digital products or going online, digital marketing and all of that. It is a path to going towards your life goals through whatever skills that you may have. It can be an online, probably baking. If you are a good baker, then online, having an online portal for your baking gives you an amazing opportunity to reach out to your clients. Similarly, for any skill that you may have.
Okay, so what you're saying is sure.
Yeah. Please go ahead.
So what you're saying is it's a great opportunity for women or otherwise to pick up whatever that they like, whether it is baking or and since the reach is so large, you can just pick that up and start setting up something online and work around. And it's easier to do that because you're doing it from home, and especially for women.
Yeah, also because again, the point that I like to reiterate is because for them, family is equally important, if not more or less equally important for them. So it's a sense of security that, while I'm going and exploring my business skills, I am able to take care of my family also at the same time. So they're not compromising on both the fronts. So that kind of... Yeah,
Please yeah, so basically you're saying is, since naturally it is for women sort of over a period of time, that they need to take care of family and to balance it, this is a very
exactly.
good platform for them to sort of start something that they like and balance home and their profession, being at home,
100%.
right?
100%.
So actually that
And
also
at
brings
this
me.
point, I don't mean to say that they're not capable of actually going and doing this in a much larger scale, but
Mhm.
this is a great way to actually, start
Mhm.
that journey.
Right. So that, of course, we have. I don't know if you've been seeing the other interviews and videos. So that one of the things, that I want to bring in is the data points in terms of how the gap that is there in women taking those steps. Whether it is women entrepreneurship or whether it is chief executive roles, C-suite roles in a leadership level, there is only 0.2% of the population out there at the leadership level who are women. And for some reason, at the women entrepreneurship in India, there are India. I've said this data point. India is abysmally low. We are third from the bottom after Pakistan and Bangladesh. And somehow women don't take that initiative or step in sort of probably exploring and taking that risk of becoming an entrepreneur, and more so in India. This, of course, is there globally and more so in India. And for some reason in South, probably women are taking that step more than in North. And we don't know why and what is all of this, but this is a McKinsey kind of data report that is there about both C-suite roles and women entrepreneurship. So there is a gap, right? While you're saying digital entrepreneurship is easier for us to pan out, there is a gap today, gap in terms of taking those steps, gap in terms of risk, taking that risk to become an entrepreneur, whether it is a digital space or otherwise, right? So then where do you think is the real problem?
So the first point that when it comes to the aspiration, probably starting with a woman wanting to do something on her own to make her financially independent. So I
Hmm.
think that is inbuilt in everyone. More
Mm-hmm.
so, I would say, if you are comparing probably someone from north and south, maybe the primary reason could be the level of education which is there. Down
Mm-hmm.
south, the education is considered much, literacy rate is much higher, and women also go on uh, to to higher levels of education. It's just not a basic,
Mm-hmm.
your 12th pass or 10th pass, then you're
Right, right.
considered as educated. So there is
Mm-hmm.
a professional approach to the education, and wherever, whatever they want to pursue,
Mm-hmm.
there is support by the parents equally, without the difference being between a boy or a girl who needs an education. So that is
Mm-hmm.
something. And once you are equipped with the education and the skills, then obviously, what probably is stopping from more women to go and use those skills to start their business journey or an entrepreneur journey.
Mm-hmm.
Primarily, I think it is the mindset which over all these years, which women have been fed with, that you're probably restricted to the four walls of the house. Your priority is your family, and
Mm-hmm.
somewhere the notion that women are not good with money, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe all these points over uh, the traditional approach towards the women has been this is the kind of information that has been fed to them, that
Mm-hmm.
you are not good with money, you cannot handle customers, and so on and so forth. But as
Mm-hmm.
and when now women going out more, they're getting educated, and they're actually able to do this in a much better way than anybody else, if not lesser than equally as much as anybody else would do. Now the realization coming that yes, I am equipped, I have the skills, and all I need is that opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
I think probably until now the lack of opportunity is one such reason where we don't see much women entrepreneurs, but I am sure it is changing today, and the changes there to see, and in the days to come, I think we are living in 21st century, so obviously we are already changing our mindset. And while this approach is also from the woman's point of view, that as a woman, maybe you may be thinking that this is not my priority. My priority is first my house, and then my husband, then my kids, and then probably the woman wants to prioritize herself as last in the list. And with this kind of a thought process, the ultimate thought that I should go and probably become independent, probably in terms of financial independence, or
yeah.
even when you have someone start a business, you're actually employing other people, or you're empowering other people to also embark on that journey. So it's just not your own growth. You are taking other people along, and they can be other women who are part of your organization who help to, and you're helping them also, grow financially and independently, and more importantly, the entire thought process is evolving as you go along. Now, coming back to the ratio that you mentioned, I am sure it's true, but then the mindset is changing, and it is you see there's so many women entrepreneurs who are becoming independent. They're successful. It's just that they've been fed until now that maybe you're not going to be successful at this. So probably that fear of failure is one such thing that that is probably stopping more and more women to go and embark on their journey. And also that initial support that is needed in terms of the initial investment, or the somebody, your husband or your family supporting you at the home front while you go and explore that is a very important factor, which will give a woman a confidence that if my husband is there to take care of the house, or my family or in-laws will take care, and I am supported by them, and I can go out there and try this. I think that is all these factors put together probably will help more and more women to go and it's a win-win situation for the entire family. It's just not a woman's growth. When if another woman of the house is also earning, I'm sure the family is going to benefit overall. It's just not that you are earning. So when two people are earning, obviously there is going to be more income coming into the family.
So talking about finances, and one of the that's a very relevant point. I wanted to talk a little more about that. In the sense, if a woman takes a step of exploring on the entrepreneurship journey, one thing that happens is finances are totally borne by her. Is again a data point. And especially in India, even if they go and take that step, it is only in disadvantaged communities that you find these women, as entrepreneurs. Now, I mean, as you very right, and of course, government today is supporting women in terms of, there is our Modi's government where you have e-rupee, debit cards and things like that is coming up. As you said, there is a shift in the mind frame, and if you go there with a business idea, if you go there with a plan, there are people willing to support you. Having said, I mean, that I'm just like sort of summarizing, also in some sense what you're trying to say, right? So I was also wanting to talk about, like, I know you have a daughter, Dashweer sir, right? And you have a daughter and a son, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So how do you, like, see, is there some kind of a difference in your narratives, or I'm sure it's not a personal question, but I'm just like trying to ask you that, like, see, when you're dealing with them as individuals and as a father, right, how do you sort of change when you're dealing, say, with your daughter or with so what is the kind of narrative that is there in your mind? So are you really conscious that probably tomorrow your daughter might come up and say that, yes, I want to do this, or whatever. So how is it different for you when you're dealing with your daughter, and what is your narrative, especially when you're dealing with your son? So what are those things that you think are it's very important to tell your son more than your daughter?
So for me personally, how I look at it is whether it's my son or a daughter, both of them, if you're looking at a boy, there are, a male qualities, and there in a boy also there are that feminine qualities. When I say the feminine qualities, it's not the girlish look, but then
Yes,
those
I understand.
the emotions that I'm talking about. So
Yes,
so it's very important that we talk to kids, and then when we address them, we equally balance them out. There is a
yes,
misconception that boys should be more loud, outgoing, hard, and wild, and all of that.
yes,
Whereas they have to be balanced in the female emotions also, the feminine emotions also. They have to be. There has to be a balance. So when I talk to my daughter also, when I look at my daughter also, uh, she need not be good in cooking, and soft and good in music and all of that, which are considered to be normally
more
the
feminine.
areas of
Hmm.
girls. But at the same
Yes,
time, I want her to be strong, bold, and fearless, and as outgoing as my son. And if my son probably shouts at her and does something, then I have taught her to, okay, give it back to him the way he wants it. So I think it's
yes.
very important as parents that we balance out the emotions in a boy and a girl equally well. So that is very,
Perfect.
very important.
So
So this
balancing
is
out, yeah,
so this is at this age, and when they grow up and they want to. So for me, it's not that my son becomes an engineer and my daughter goes to in arts. It is up to them what field they want to choose
yes.
and what is
Hmm.
their interest. Kids today are very much aware of, and they're very clear in their thought process.
Yes,
Unlike us,
I
so
agree.
today they're very clear
Correct.
that this is what I want to do. They're well aware of what is happening around them, and accordingly
Yes,
they pick their path. That
yes.
this is what I want. So if whatever it is, I think as parents we should give them that opportunity, and then it's up to them to pursue it.
Sure, sure. So I would want to slightly shift into talking about the digital angle and the technology angle when you talk about a woman, a boy, or a girl, right? For some reason, it is felt that a boy is more comfortable with machines and cars and toys as opposed to a girl. A girl is more like right from the early age, or people. A girl plays with say Barbie dolls, and a boy plays with a car and a machine, right? And when this happens, this grows into the same thing that women are from Mars and men are from Venus, that situation, right? So we are better with relationships and men are better with machines and cars, right, for example. So now, given that situation and the entrepreneurship journey that is there, where do you think that could become a sort of a gap for a woman to take a step? Because digital journey is actually technology. For a woman, it is actually to sort of master the technology, which is more to do with machines and not really relationship, right?
So let me
That
give
is
you
the
an
first.
example here.
Yeah,
Let me give you an example. Uh,
yeah.
Women in each household today, they are the frontiers of kitchen. When it comes to the kitchen, it's their territory. Okay, but
Hmm.
if you look at the outside world, uh,
Right.
the best chefs in the world are men.
Chefs.
So,
Yes.
does that mean that the way that we bring up our kids, we don't go and teach them necessarily teach a boy that this is how you chop onions or this is how you need to cook. But at
Yes.
the end of the day, the boy or a man becomes one of the best chefs in the world. Now, similarly,
Mm.
when you look at the opposite of that, yes, the mindset or the general, I think it's not about perception. More so, it is about the interest. Now, if
Yes.
boys are more interested
Mm.
in machines and girls are more interested in other hobbies, there is
Mm.
nothing that is stopping a woman from going and embarking on that entrepreneur,
Mm.
especially a digital entrepreneur journey, which is just because she is considered not great as with machines or technology. That is again just a perception. I don't agree to that. So what is more important is that your vision and that your drive, that I need to go and succeed in this business, or this is what I want to go and do. Now, if I need to learn technology, I am very poor at technology. Even though if you look at me, I am not a tech person. I am not digitally strong. But given an opportunity, I will learn, and then I will achieve the goal. I will not let my lack of machinery or lack of technology come in the way of the goal that I want to achieve. Similarly, when it
Sure.
comes to women, I don't think that should be a hindrance
Or a resistance. You're saying
yeah.
that should not hinder a woman.
So ultimately,
Just
what
as
is
a
it that
man.
you want to do? It's up to them. And if you need to learn some technology, so be it.
Yes, so be it. And just as a best chef in the world are men, probably a best digital entrepreneur could be women. Of course,
100%.
that's a good point. So I also want to talk a little bit about networking, Dashweer sir. So the thing is, like, see, again, being a part of Business Network International and things like that, right? And if you look at even the chapters that are there, you will find there are very few women in the chapters, like anywhere that you go, whether it is, even in a class or even in my graduation, we were just one or two women there. And so, somehow, when it's a networking kind of a situation, the men seem to be, now this is not like a judgment, but men seem to be more comfortable in sort of networking, building, the external sort of connections, and therefore business and entrepreneurship, right? But somewhere the women a little bit are hesitant. They are better off, so probably in a one-to-one kind of a conversation, rather than being in a group and building the connections. What are your views and thoughts about this, based on your experience being a senior director in Business Network International?
The best way to give you an answer to that, Preetha, is that the person who leads this organization in Hyderabad is one of the strongest women that I've come across, Sanjana Shah. Just hardly, she's 28, 29 years of age, and she leads an army of 1,500 plus people. It's not easy to do that. And while coming back to the question, that I think it's more of a mind frame. Ultimately, the reason that you are networking is to offer a service or a product. I think being a woman or a man, if my product or service is up to the mark, and if there is a genuine need for it in the market, then I don't think that there is anything that is going to stop me from networking. If I am confident about my product and my ability to satisfy the need of the client, then being a man or woman, it's not there. Okay, agreed, there is a little bit of difference, but I think somewhere that approach is changing, and it is also probably our perception, maybe again as a woman, that I'm little hesitant to just go up front and then start talking or
Building the
making a
connections.
conversation, starting a conversation. It's just that there is some women may not be comfortable, but I think that times are changing. And like I said, if you are serious about growing your business and taking it forward, then I think your product and the service should speak about it rather than anything else.
Rather than the gender, in some sense.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I don't
So
think that should be a reason for you to not network. And as you know, almost all the 30 chapters that we have today have amazing women entrepreneurship. They're doing great in whatever field they are. And this is, again, BNI is one of the best opportunities for any women to come and explore the networking platform to grow their business. Yes.
Yeah, sure. So I'd like to move into a slightly sensitive angle, Dashweer. This is in terms of, cyber stalking and the kind of, say, comments that come into. This is, of course, women need to deal with it, whether you're in an external world or a digital world. Digital world more so because you don't know sometimes who the person is at all. Of course, even in the external world, you do not know, but sometimes there are these unforeseen comments, and probably pictures that come into place. And then that's one of the reasons why I actually was not even public in Facebook. Once I've sort of become a woman entrepreneur, you need to become public. The people asking you to become friends, and you need to take those decisions, and you need to make those quick sort of decisions, for me, for example, women leads. Most of them out there in the digital space, 70% of them are men. And there is also data point on that, that in the internet space, there is actually more men than women in terms of whatever they view. And of course, when you're selling a product, people are willing to buy, whether it is man or women, if it is educative by nature. But typically in the internet space, it is 70% men and above. So in that sense, what are the kind of actions you think a woman needs to take, to protect herself in terms of security? What else? What do you think
I
is
think
relevant
the
here?
first and the foremost is setting the expectations right. If
Mm-hmm.
right from day one, right from the first instance, if the message that goes out that I am here to do business, and if you like my product or service, and setting the right expectations right in the beginning, and so that there is less chance of any such incident happening. I'm not saying that that is going to keep you safe 100%. Obviously, there is all the stories that we hear about today. There is it's a big wild world. You don't know. You hardly get to see the face also of the person that sometimes you're dealing with,
Yes.
or talking with. So really don't know who's behind that. But yes, and in case of any such bad experience that we have, I think without any fear, or without any thought of being judged, or being probably held party to it for the present situation that may come out. I think any woman should actually be bold enough to take it head on. And it's a business deal that you're dealing with, whether you're a man or a woman. I think that aspect, it is high time that we start to keep that aspect behind us, and start thinking that I am a businesswoman, and who is no difference from a businessman. So
Yes.
that gender division that has been there until now for years and years together, I think a woman should first grow out of that stigma, because somewhere there is that perception that, okay, I'm weak, or I'm not capable of handling this situation. So I think that self-belief has to come. I'm sure that, and I do believe that it is, times are changed, and it is more and more women are so confident and able to handle any situation.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I think so. Setting the right expectations in the beginning,
Right.
that is the
Yeah. So
foremost thing, and drawing a line, being
drawing
open
it.
about,
Yes.
this is I'm here to do business. That's it.
Right. Right. So what
Yeah.
you're saying is, whether it is digital space or otherwise, the kind of message that you constantly send as a
Exactly.
businesswoman, what you post, and what are the kind of conversations that you have, where are you drawing the line? And, of course, it leads me to other questions. But sure, so that's one thing that we need to take care of. And of course, when I was talking to the other people, other interviewers, one thing that was coming up was, you need to know the cyber laws very much. We need to ourselves get very much aware of it. I
Yeah,
know
so
that
the
there's a
law is
cyber
very
cell in
strict.
Hyderabad.
If you look at the laws and the options available, it's so much strict, and also everything is in place that, even if you have a remotest doubt of the things that is coming your way, you can. There is every support
We
that
can
you
take it
have.
up.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I
Sure,
think
sure. So,
in terms of the framework which is being given today in the
yeah.
cyberspace and the online world to stay safe, I think it's taken very seriously. It's not brushed aside.
Yes,
So
yes. So the only thing is, there's a lot of lacunae. People don't know what are the policies. Even in the normal law, there is a lot of gaps. I mean, in a cyber law, people are not really clear. But, when I was talking to Sanjana and few others, they were actually saying that there have been certain cases that have been taken. And in fact, especially the Hyderabad police, they worked on it very, very effectively and solved it. So this is one of the, I think the thing that we're talking about this and having more such conversations so that people get aware that there is something like this that exists, and you can
Yes.
take it up when it is needed. That's also one way that at least, probably in my Facebook, people will be wary about talking or doing such things, because I'm raising it as a person and people are also getting aware of it. So that is
So more
one,
than
yeah,
the laws, if I may
yeah,
add, more than the laws, we need to take that stand. The law is there. We've had
right,
police stations for hundreds of years, but it doesn't mean just because there is a police station, I go and complain every day. I should be
correct,
bold
yeah,
enough and strong enough to handle that situation on my own first. Just because there is a
yes,
law, it doesn't mean that we go and have to use. But yes, if it comes to that, just a phone call or a message and you're taken care. Just a text
yes,
message, that is enough for you to be taken care of if
for
any
people
such
to,
incident happens.
sure, 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 sir. So I wanted to ask one question, then it's time for you to ask me a question, and then we'll end it with a lighter note. Is that okay?
Yeah, yeah.
So what else do you see in terms of, you have told a lot of things as to there's a space out there where women can just go and explore. And is there any other top two things in terms of actions that a woman digital entrepreneur or the women power in digital for it to sort of to be seen? What are the top one or top two actions you think a woman should take for her to flourish in the woman power digital entrepreneurship kind of a world that we exist today? What could be the top two actions?
So, while whatever skill or line of business that a woman chooses to go ahead and pursue, when it especially comes to the digital world, all of us, whether a man or a woman, we need to get ourselves accustomed to the digital platform, how to set up a website, how to do digital marketing, and how to make her presence felt in the digital world. So whatever,
Hmm.
irrespective of the product, I think a woman entrepreneur or a woman who wants to take her business online, whatever it may be. So we should be first aware of what are the platforms that are there for me to pursue my business. I think that is the basic information and steps that anybody should first pursue and understand how do business flourish online. Whatever business
So
it is. So how
some
to
kind of
use the digital
research.
space. Yeah,
Right, right.
probably spend some time in that. And the
Understanding.
second, yeah, so the second thing is that, women are great at multitasking. Everybody knows that. So
Mhm.
it's just a sense of confidence that somebody needs to give them, more so from the family, that we are there to take care of it. You go pursue and do whatever you want to pursue in life. Maybe, yeah, now that you've had kids, now you have more time, even in an early stage. If so, that support has to come from the family,
Family.
because that once it comes, there is no stopping any women. It's not the lack of skills or lack of money or lack of anything. It's just that the support system, if it's there, that okay, you go out there and do whatever you want to do, and we are there to support you by taking care of the home, taking care
I
of
totally
anything.
agree. Yes, yes.
So
I
if
totally agree
that is
with this
there,
point.
I don't think there is nothing that a woman or anyone can go out there and achieve. So
Mm.
these two things
Yeah.
are my top two things that I
Mm.
would recommend to anyone.
Yeah, and you know what, Dashweer ji, it's like very important for me. For example, if my husband really supports me in at times during financial needs, and also when you get into an entrepreneurship kind of a journey, there's a lot of, at least initially in the growth stage, there is a lot of time that one needs to spend. So sort of balancing that. Sometimes I get so busy with work and I may not be able to sort of do other things, right? So then balancing those kind of things becomes important. And I think women also need to start talking about the support that they get from the family, because what I have seen, observed is, when you get into a group kind of a discussion, there is this thing that, oh, we are in a this thing, we always keep doing domestic work, we don't do. So I think we should also change the narrative in sort of start telling people that yes, we have support when we have support. When we don't have support, it's fine, you can say it, but when we have support, it's important to also say that. So I would like to just mention that to add to this. Yeah.
I'm so
Uh,
glad to hear this, because it's always the other side of the story where our family doesn't support. But then, like you mentioned, there are people, probably like in your case, where the family and the husbands do support
yes,
the
yes,
women who
definitely.
want to go and pursue. So, thank you for
Yeah.
bringing that up.
No, no, sure. So the other thing, so now it's time for you to ask me questions, Dashwiji. Anything related to the business and whatever. I mean, I think we know each other a little more than so. Yeah,
So, yeah.
you can ask me a question too.
So my question to you is, now that you have embarked on the journey of empowering women entrepreneurs, so what is the vision that you have, as a coach or as a business consultant that you have for the women that you want to help? What is the vision that you want, and what is it? What is the path that you're taking for this?
So my vision, Dashiji, is to help 100,000 women become self-reliant. And this is very, very close to my heart because it's based on the experiences that I have gone through as a woman. Because I was working in the corporate world, but there were these natural breaks that happens, and that is the reality. And once the break happens, you want to get back, but there are differences in either in pay or in, in terms of whom you're competing with. There are youngsters you're competing with, and the time that you spend, right? Is like, I used to go at 10 a.m. and come at 9:30 p.m. in the night, working in great companies. But then, when I took the break, I started freelancing, training, and coaching, and that gave me a little bit of flexibility, sort of to balance. And when you have a child, you want to balance. You want to also open the door for your daughter when she's back from school. In my case, my daughter. So you're trying to balance all of that. I said, might as because if someone is squeezing work out of you and not giving you the pay, might as well do your own thing and do something that's close to your heart. So 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 the brain-based methodology of coaching that I adopt, this is something. There are a lot of women whom have already made a difference. So now, using the digital platform, I'm trying to sort of build in that area so that there are more women who join. So basically at the end of it, they see that there is some direction. It's not necessary that when they join me, 100% they'll achieve everything. But at least there's clarity of thought, and they see that they're in 20, 30%, 60% sort of, in the right direction. That is what is my, I'm very, very passionate about this. It's very close to my heart, Dashwiji. That's the thing. So
So glad
great.
to hear
So
that. I'm sure you're doing an amazing job in helping the women achieve the goal that they have and the vision for their life. So really glad to hear that, and wishing you all the very best in your pursuit.
thank you so much, Dashwiji. And so I'm going to be asking one last question on a lighter note. I mean, there's nothing like, being a women feminist and all. I'm not that, right? Definitely not that. It's just, I'm not even saying that women are better than men and things like that. So let's leave all of that aside. It's just, also there is a little, I don't want to sound pompous that, this whole interviews that I'm doing is, there is an objective to that, but it's also a little bit of marketing, let me say, so that I get more women in my journey, right? Now, one thing that I want to ask you is, what will you do for your women or in your life after this interview gets over? Something special that you want to do for your women in your life.
So okay. So probably yes. Every woman, until you start a family, and then you're very passionate about raising your kids, and then ultimately at one point in time when the kids are self-reliant, every woman has this thought process. Okay, now I want to do something in life. Okay, my kids are sorted out.
Yeah, yeah.
Now my house is taken care. Now I am qualified to do this, but now so on this note, yes, I have been pursuing and asking my wife to join me in my business, because I know she's great at managerial skills. She handles people much better than me, and when you work with the closest person that you trust, the results are the best. That is my personal feeling, and I'm sure that once this lockdown is over, we're probably going to look at starting off that very soon, and it will be a win-win situation for both of us if we can bring our abilities and help the business grow further.
Great, Dashweer ji. Thank you so much. And I'd like to end with I don't know where that quote is, but let me try to bring it out. Anyway, so let me just say this is also my slogan. Sort of change is inevitable, but growth is optional. So I think all of us have to make that choice of the options that we have, right? Whether it is man or woman. Thank you so much, Dashweer ji, for having accepted.
Pleasure, talking to you, and pleasure is all mine. Wishing you all the very best. Thank you once again.
Thank you, and same to you, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye.